So what's up guys, welcome to a new YouTube video. This is going to be a very long one. I might split this up in two parts, I'll see. This is about my biohacking meal plan suggestions and the testosterone ratings I'm giving it. So basically, I'm going to review every single food, not every single food out there, but a lot of foods, and I recommend you what to eat and what the testosterone ratings are for it out of 10. So let's get started. Oops. So protein. By now, you already know how many daily calories you need and how much protein you need to consume every day, blah, blah, blah. But now it's time to start making your meal plan. For your meal plan, I'm going to give a selection of different nutrient-dense foods to choose from. In this presentation, I'll be sharing with you the best choice for protein that you could choose to include in your meal plan. So choice 1, chicken breast. Everyone knows about this by now. 100 grams of chicken raw breast has 23 grams of protein, 120 calories, and 2.6 grams of fat. Everyone nearly eats this for cutting or bulking up. Pros is that it's very low in calories and high in protein. It's good for you if you're in an extreme or steady fat loss phase. But the cons is that it can taste very bland and dry if you cook in bulk and store in the fridge. Testosterone rating, I'll give it 7 out of 10 because there's much better alternatives, and you'll see why. Especially because a lot of chicken in the supermarkets is infested with lots of antibodies and sprays and pesticides. So I suggest no prioritize chicken, especially the skin. But if you're living in a farm, it's very good for you. So choice 2 is chicken thighs without skin. 100 grams of raw chicken thigh without skin has 18 grams of protein, 144 calories, and 8 grams of fat. And its pros are that it tastes delicious, much better than chicken breast. You can store in the fridge and it still stays juicy once you heat up. And it's much better than chicken thighs with skin because there's less linoleic acid, which causes inflammation and chronic diseases like cigarettes. So cons is that it's very high in calories and not as high in protein. So it'll be very hard to stay within your calorie limits on the extreme and steady fat loss diet. And it has a high percentage of linoleic acid because the chicken are fed a lot of grains and it's stored within their fats, which is something that they cannot get rid of, unlike cows, that we get into later. So testosterone rating, I'll give it 6.6 out of 10. It's decent, pretty good. Choice 2 is chicken thighs with skin. 100 grams of raw chicken thigh with skin has 16 grams of protein, 221 calories, and 17 grams of fat. Its pros are that it tastes delicious, much better than chicken breast. You can store it in the fridge and it stays juicy once you heat it up. And it's very high in calories and not as high in protein. That's a con. So it'll be very hard to stay within your calorie limit on the extreme and steady fat loss diet. It has a high percentage of linoleic acid because the chicken are fed a lot of grains and is stored within the fat, just like the previous three. And it's not as good as chicken thighs without skin because like I said before, it has more linoleic acid, which causes inflammation and chronic disease. So testosterone rating, 6.5 out of 10. Choice 3. Now this is the good ones. Beef sirloin steak. 100 grams of raw beef sirloin steak has 27 grams of protein, 211 calories, and 10.6 grams of fat. Pros, it tastes delicious when cooked fresh, great for boosting testosterone, has so much zinc in it, and is very nutrient dense. And if you're on very fast muscle gains, this is the best choice. Cons is that it's on the expensive side, it's very high in calories, so it'll be very hard to stay within the calorie limit of an extreme and steady fat loss diet, but you can still balance it because it's very filling. You'll have to cook it fresh every time since if you cook it in bulk and store it in the fridge, it won't taste as good. And one side note, if you take a lot of this, you should try supplement with copper because when you have lots of zinc, your copper level depletes in the body, so try supplement some copper. And try to drink raw milk with this as well because it drains those nutrients that you need as well. So you combine this with raw milk, and then you can be set, like I tell my clients. By the way, this is all recommended to my clients as well. Choice 3, beef ribeye steak, equally as good. 100 grams has 23.7 grams of protein, 291 calories, a bit more than the calorie side, has 21.8 grams of fat. Pros is it's delicious when cooked fresh, like the other one, and the meat is tender. Great for boosting testosterone, as it's very nutrient dense. If you want very fast muscle gains, this is a great choice, especially because the beef ribeye steak and beef in general doesn't store any of the antibodies and all the pesticides that are sprayed, unlike chicken. So beef is much better than chicken, unless you live next to a farm and you know for sure that chicken and beef are not infested with pesticides and grain-fed. So the cons are is that it's on the expensive side. It's very high in calories, so it'll be very hard to stay within your calorie limit on the extreme and steady fat loss diet. You'll have to cook it fresh every single time, since if you cook it in bulk and store it in the fridge, it just won't taste as good. So testosterone rating, 9 out of 10. Choice 3 is 85% lean and 15% fat ground beef. 100 grams of raw ground beef has been shown to have 18.6 grams of protein, 215 calories, and 18.6 grams of fat. A bit low on the protein side, but trust me, it's really good. It's very easy to cook in bulk and store in the fridge. It's great for boosting testosterone, like I said before. It's very nutrient dense. It's even better than eating expensive steaks because it's high in collagen, which is supercharges recovery. Collagen is important for so much things, especially joints, your tendons, your skins. But this is a different video. I don't want to go for too long and bore you out with this information. So if you want very fast muscle gains, this is a great choice. It's cheap and it tastes better than 95% lean ground beef. The cons is that it's a little higher in calories in comparison to 95% lean ground beef, so it'll be very hard to stay with the new calorie limited on the extreme and steady fat loss diet, and a bit less in protein as well. So choice 3, 95% lean and 5% fat ground beef. 100 grams of cooked ground beef has 21.4 grams of protein, 130 calories, and 5 grams of fat. Remember, fat is actually good for you. Don't get mistaken there. Pros are that it's easy to cook in bulk and store in the fridge, and it's great for boosting testosterone as it's very nutrient dense. It's even better than eating expensive steaks because it's high in collagen, which will supercharge your recovery. If you want very fast muscle gains, this is a great choice. It's cheap and is extremely low in calories and very high in protein. The cons is that it's not as high in collagen as compared to the previous one. Choice 3, 80% lean and 20% fat minced lamb. So 100 grams of raw minced lamb has 24 grams of protein, 278 calories, and 20 grams of fat. Pros is that it's easy to cook in bulk and store in fridge. It's great for boosting testosterone levels, especially as it's very nutrient dense. It's even better than eating expensive steaks because it's high in collagen, which will supercharge your recovery. If you want very fast muscle gains, this is a great choice. It's cheap and tastes better than 95% lean ground lamb. And it's even better than beef because most lamb are grass-fed and they're not fed much grains, which means that their fat is very low in linoleic acid, which means it's much better for boosting testosterone levels. The cons is that it's just a little high in calories in comparison to 95% lean ground lamb, so it'd be hard to stay within your calorie limit if you're on the extreme and steady fat loss diet, which I go through with my clients. The next choice is 90% lean and 10% fat minced lamb. 100 grams of raw minced lamb has 31 grams of protein, 210 calories, and 10 grams of fat. The pros is that it's easy to cook in bulk and store in fridge. It's great for boosting testosterone. It's very nutrient dense. It's even better than eating expensive steaks because, like I said before, it's high in collagen, which will supercharge your recovery. And if you want very fast muscle gains, this is a great choice. And it's extremely low in calories as well, like you can see here, and high in protein. So it's great for you if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phase. The cons is that it's not as high in collagen as compared to 85% lean and 15% fat ground beef. So testosterone rating, I'll give it 9.6 out of 10. Next choice, now we're speaking, whole eggs. One medium egg has 5.5 grams of protein, 63 calories, and 4.2 grams of fat. Pros is that one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet is like consuming a vitamin tablet. The protein in eggs is very bioavailable, so you absorb way more protein than other protein sources. It's amazing for boosting testosterone. It's cheap. However, it might cause some people more acne. Pasture-raised eggs don't cause as much acne. Cons is that it isn't as good as pasture-raised eggs. Pasture-raised eggs are way more nutrient than this, but I still give this an 8.5 out of 10. And what a lot of bodybuilders and people get wrong is they avoid the yolk part, as you can see here. This is the very bad thing to do. Make sure you have the yolk because that's what the omega-3 and vitamin D is. Everything is located here, all the vitamins and nutrients. So make sure you do not just eat the white yolk itself. Have this with it. And one side tip: if instead of using a shampoo, I say use a raw egg yolk and put in your hair and leave it for 20 minutes, and then wash it out after 20 minutes. And then because it has a lot of the nutrients that your hair needs, so it's much better shampoo alternative because they have chemicals and lots of products that really messes up with the hormones and it actually increases hair loss. So now let's speak about pasture-raised whole eggs. So one medium egg has 5.5 grams of protein, 63 calories, and 4.2 grams of fat. So process is that one of the most nutrient-dense food on the planet, even better than the one before. The protein in the eggs is very bioavailable, like I said before. It's amazing for boosting testosterone. Doesn't cause skin issues as much as normal eggs. So next choice is almonds. 1 ounce of almonds has 6 grams of protein, 164 calories, and 14 grams of fat. You know what I'm going to say about this. It's very high in calories, so it's good if you're on the lean bulk phase, and it's very hard for you to gain. and they're very high in vitamin E, so this neutralizes the effects of seed oils. However, the cons is there's the worst omega-6 to omega ratios ever. The excess omega-6 causes inflammation, chronic diseases, acne flare-ups. Guys, just avoid any seed oils, such as vegetable oil, sunflower oil, and you name it, palm oil as well. Also, it can cause cardiovascular disease, causes a risk of autoimmune diseases, very high in calories, so don't overconsume if you're in an extreme or steady fat loss phase. So, testosterone rating 3.5 out of 10. Don't need to waste my time for this. Come on. Next choice is macadamia nuts. 1 ounce of macadamia nuts has 2.2 grams of protein, 204 calories, and 21.5 grams of fat. Much better than almond nuts, but is also very high in calories, so it's good if you're on the lean bulk phase. It has an amazing ratio of omega-6 to omega ratio, so it has less omega-6 basically. You'll be able to consume more calories without causing cardiovascular diseases, IBS, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune diseases, you name it. The cons is that it's very high in calories, so don't overconsume it if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phase. Testosterone rating 7.5 out of 10, a bit more nicer. Peanuts is 1 ounce of peanuts is 7.3 grams of protein, 161 calories, 14 grams of fat. So sorry about that, but this only pro I can find is that it's high in calories, so it's good if you're trying to bulk, but I still wouldn't recommend you. The cons is, let's get started. Probably the worst omega-6 to omega-3 ratios ever. It's supposed to be 4, and this is over 5,000. The excess omega-6 causes inflammation, chronic disease, acne flare-ups, you know it by now. Cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cause of metabolic syndrome, causes irritable bowel syndrome, causes risk of cancer, causes risk of autoimmune diseases, very high in calories, so don't overconsume it if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phases. And do not consume this if you suffer from acne, it'll make it a loss worse. If I could rate it lower, I would, 1 out of 10. Next choice is fat-free Greek yogurt. 100 grams of fat-free Greek yogurt has 10 grams of protein, 54 calories, and 0 grams of fat. The pros is that it's extremely high in protein and low in calories, so it's great for you if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phases. As yogurt contains probiotics, so it's great for your gut health, like I spoke about differently. Cons is that it's not as nutrient dense as Greek yogurt with fat, so it's a solution 7 out of 10. Next choice is 5% fat Greek yogurt, a bit better than the one before. So it's 9 grams of protein, 93 calories, 5 grams of fat, and the pros is that yogurt contains probiotics, so it's great for your gut health. And it's great for people with gut issues, skin issues, boosts immunity, fixes constipation, and it's better for you than taking a probiotic supplement. The cons is that it's more calories in comparison to how much protein it has, so it's not suitable for the extreme and steady fat loss phases. I'm going to go on the better ones. So it's a bit better than before, 7.5 out of 10. Next choice is raw milk, best of the best, one of the best, sorry. Raw milk from grass-fed cows with no hormones in it and injected, 3.5 grams of protein, 66 calories, and 3.7 grams of fat of 100 milliliters of whole milk. The pros is that it's much better than any type of milk you can get at a shopping store. It's extremely nutrient dense. None of the essential enzymes and probiotics have been destroyed. The Queen only drank raw milk. The best footballers in the world, like Haaland, drink this and they still keep on growing taller. It's been shown to boost fertility up to 50% in rats, so you can imagine the results in humans. This will clear up any acne issues. Most skin-related diseases such as eczema will clear up. It will fix up your gut issues too. The cons is that it's higher in calories, so not as suitable for the extreme or steady fat loss phase, and it's also hard to source, especially authentic ones. So make sure you authentify it, because a lot of them can be fake. Testosterone rating 9.8 out of 10, very good. Next choice is pasteurized whole milk. 100 milliliters has 3.5 grams of protein, 66 calories, and 3.7 grams of fat. The pros is that it's better than other type of milk you can get at a basic shopping store. It's high in bioavailable protein and is more nutrient dense than other milk that's available at basic shopping store. The cons is it'll never be as good as a raw milk from grass-fed cows. Most of the essential enzyme and bacteria is destroyed when the milk is pasteurized, so it's heated basically. It's high in calories, so not suitable for the extreme or steady fat loss phases. And if you're prone to acne, drinking more milk will make it worse. So if you drink raw, it won't. Testosterone rating 5 out of 10. Next choice is pasteurized semi-skim. 100 milliliters has 3.6 grams of protein, 50 calories, and 1.8 grams of fat. The pros is that it's low in calories, so it's suitable for the extreme or steady fat loss phases, and it's high in bioavailable protein. The cons is that it'll never be as good as raw milk from grass-fed cows. Most of the essential enzymes and bacteria is destroyed when the milk is pasteurized, basically heated. So if you're prone to acne, drinking more milk will make it worse. If you drink raw, it won't. Trust me. A lot of people think that raw milk is bad for you. Trust me, it's not at all. Is really, really good for you. There's a very, very small percent chance of people getting any type of issues from drinking it. So stick to raw milk, guys. You'll trust me on this. Especially my clients such as Armis, who I've told to drink raw milk, has really, really benefit from this. It's also worse than whole milk too, this pasteurized one. So it has less nutrients than even pasteurized whole milk. So this will cause gut issues in the long run. So testosterone rating, 4 out of 10. Don't drink this. 100 ml of skim milk has 3.6 grams of protein, 35 calories, and 0.1 grams of fat. The pros is that it's extremely low in calories, so it's suitable for the extreme or steady fat loss phases, and it's also high in bioavailable protein. The cons is that it'll never be as good as raw milk from grass-fed cows. Most of the essential enzymes and bacteria is destroyed when the milk is pasteurized, so heated. So if you're prone to acne, drinking more milk will make it worse. Of this one, of course. And this also worse than whole milk and semi-skim milk combined. It's been stripped of nearly all its nutrients and can cause gut issues on the long run. Next is cod. 100 grams of raw cod has 18 grams of protein, 82 calories, and 0.7 grams of fat. Pros is that it is good for a fish. It doesn't have the fishy flavor, and extremely high in protein and low in calories, and amazing for extreme or steady fat loss phases compared to other fish like salmon. But we'll get onto that later. It's low in mercury compared to the other fishes, and the cons is that it's not as nutrient dense as wild caught cod. So make sure all the fish you get is wild caught, not the one you get from the supermarkets. Testosterone rating, 7 out of 10. Next choice, like I spoke about, wild caught cod. 100 grams of it has 18 grams of protein, 82 calories, and 0.7 grams of fat. The pros is that it tastes good for the fish, extremely high in protein and low in calories, low in mercury compared to other fishes, and more nutrient dense than normal cod. The cons is they're expensive. 7.7 out of 10. Next choice is salmon. 100 grams of raw salmon has 20 grams of protein, 200 calories, and 13 grams of fat. The pros is that it's high in protein, extremely nutrient dense, and very high in omega-3 compared to all types of other fishes. So it lowers inflammation, prevents chronic diseases, amazing for skin health, amazing for brain health, and you name it. And also been shown to improve Alzheimer's as well. It also has nootropic effects, so it boosts your brain power. So it's very high in vitamin E, so that means it neutralizes all the effects of seed oils. The best type of fish you can eat, apart from the wild caught salmon, which is better. Cons is that it's expensive, so 8.5 out of 10. Wild caught salmon, this is the one I'm speaking about. 100 grams of raw salmon has 20 grams of protein, 208 calories, and 13 grams of fat. Pros is that it's high in protein, extremely nutrient dense, more nutrient dense than normal salmon. It's very high in omega-3 compared to all other types of fish, so it lowers inflammation, prevents chronic disease, amazing for skin health, and has no nootropic effects, so boosts your brain power. It's very high in vitamin E, so that means it neutralizes all the effects of seed oils. The best type of fish you can eat, period. Cons is that extremely expensive. And it's also, as you might say, it's high in calories. So if you're trying to go on a cut, so I wouldn't really suggest eating this as often. I'd say stick to 2 to 3 times a week. It's better than supplementing omega-3. You get all your omega-3, but just 2 to 3 times a week of wild caught salmon. Trust me on this. My clients can attest, like I said, for the 100th time. Next choice is tilapia. 100 grams of tilapia has 20 grams of protein, 96 calories, 1.7 grams of fat, and the pros is they're very nutrient dense, extremely high in protein and low in calories, so excellent for extreme and steady fat loss phases. The cons is there's not as high in omega-3 in comparison to other types of fish, so testosterone rating 6.5 out of 10. Next choice is halibut. Halibut has 18.6 grams of protein, 91 calories, and 1.3 grams of fat with 100 grams of it. So pros is that we're very nutrient dense, extremely high in protein and low in calories, and excellent for extreme and steady fat loss phases. High in omega-3, so excellent to reduce inflammation and improve skin health. The cons is that it's hard to find wild caught halibut, but normal halibut is fine as well. So testosterone rating 7 out of 10. Next choice is tuna. 100 grams of canned tuna in water has 25.5 grams of protein, 116 calories, and 0.8 grams of fat. The pros is that it's probably the highest in protein in comparison to any other fish. It's excellent for the extreme and steady fat loss phases, and it's very easy to find in any shopping store. It's very cheap in comparison to other fish. Canned tuna typically contain younger and small types of tuna, so like light and skipjack, and this contains lower levels of mercury. The cons is to stay away from bigger tuna like big eye and albacore. These contain a lot of mercury you might find in the supermarkets. Even though canned tuna generally doesn't have too much mercury, you still shouldn't overconsume tuna every day, as the mercury levels will build up in your body and give you side effects such as excess fatigue. Women should avoid tuna when they're pregnant because of the high levels of mercury. So testosterone levels, 6 out of 10. Choice is whey protein powder. This is for people who have no time to cook. So one scoop, around 30 grams, approximately has 24 grams of protein, 120 calories, 1.5 grams of fat. The pros is that it makes it very easy to hit your protein goals every day because you can just down a shake in less than 10 seconds. It's very high in protein and low in calories. It's excellent for extreme or steady fat loss phases, and it's an excellent option for vegetarians to hit their protein count every day. So count is that at the end of the day, it's still processed and they will never be getting protein from real animal foods, like I spoke about before. It will cause acne flare-ups for people with sensitive skins, and is expensive as well, so you can spend less money by getting protein from real foods. Testosterone rating, 6.5 out of 10. Next choice is whey protein powder from grass-fed sources. One scoop has 24 grams of protein, 120 calories, and 1.5 grams of fat. It's better than that one before, not to speak, but it makes it very easy to hit your protein count every day. It's very high in protein, low in calories, excellent option for vegetarians. Is a lot more nutrient dense than any other protein powder you can buy. Is the best choice out of any protein powder, but the cons is at the end of the day it's still processed. It won't cause your acne to flare up as much, but it might not cause any at all for people with sensitive skin. However, it's extremely expensive as well, so you can spend less money by getting protein from real foods. Testosterone rating, 7.6 out of 10. Next choice is turkey breast. 100 grams of turkey breast has 24 grams of protein, 114 calories, and 1.5 grams of fat. The pros is that it's a lot more healthy and more nutrient dense than normal chicken breast, and it tastes nice as well. Extremely high in protein and low in calories. Excellent for extreme and steady fat loss phases. The cons is that it can taste very bland and dry if you cook it in bulk and store in fridges. And is more expensive than normal chicken breast, and it can be hard to find. So the testosterone rating, 7.2 out of 10. The next choice is tofu. 100 grams of tofu has 17 grams of protein, 144 calories, and 8.7 grams of fat. The pros is that it's high in protein compared to most vegetarian options. The cons are that it contains anti-nutrients such as phytates, which reduce absorption of zinc, calcium, and iron. It contains anti-nutrients such as trypsin inhibitors. These block trypsins, which is needed for protein digestion. Because indigestion, abdominal pain, and makes your gut health worse. It also increases estrogen, which results in lower testosterone, and also causes reduced cognitive performance and dementia. So testosterone rating 1.5 out of 10. Never take this. Next choice is potatoes. 100 grams of raw white potato has 1.7 grams of protein, 69 calories, and 0.1 grams of fat. The pros is it's very high in magnesium, more than rice. One of the most healthiest source of carbs, 10 times better than wheat. High in potassium, so the more you sweat at the gym, the more potassium you use, so it helps increase that. So even though potatoes are for carbs, the protein it does have is extremely bioavailable, even compared to eggs, and they're extremely cheap. The con, none basically. Potatoes are only unhealthy when you cook them in seed oils, like you find in McDonald's. So testosterone rating, 8.9 out of 10. Next choice is sweet potatoes. Not as good as the white ones, but it has 1.6 gram of protein, 86 calories, and 0.05 grams of fat. The pros is that it is very nutrient dense, it contains good fiber, which is soluble fiber. This will definitely improve your gut health. The cons, however, is eating too much sweet potatoes, which has a lot of beta-carotene, increases the need for retinol, which is a form of vitamin A. So make sure you eat foods in high retinol, such as egg yolks and dairy. Testosterone rating, 7.5 out of 10. The next choice is peanut butter. A lot of people take this, think it's good for you, but trust me, it's not, guys. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is 3.6 grams of protein, 95 calories, and 8 grams of fat. The only pro I can say is very high in calories, so it's good if you're in the lean bulk phase, but I will never suggest this. The cons is that probably the worst omega-6 to omega-3 ratios ever. It's supposed to be 4, and this is over 5,000 like before. The excess omega-6 can cause inflammation, chronic diseases, acne flare-ups. It can cause cardiovascular diseases, type 2 diabetes, causes of metabolic syndrome, causes irritable bowel syndrome, causes the risk of cancer, causes the risk of autoimmune diseases, and is very high in calories, so don't overconsume it from the extreme or steady fat loss phases. Just do not consume this if you suffer from acne. It will make it a lot worse, so don't consume this at all. Testosterone rating 1 out of 10. I know I'm very harsh on this, but trust me on this. The next choice, almond butter, a bit better than peanut butter. 1 tablespoon of almond butter has 3.4 grams of protein, 98 calories, and 9 grams of fat. The pros is they're very high in calories, so it's good if you're on the lean bulk phase, and they are very high in vitamin E, so this neutralizes the effect of seed oils, unlike peanut butter. The cons is that one of the worst omega-6 to omega ratios ever. The excess omega-6 causes inflammation, chronic diseases, acne flare-ups, cardiovascular diseases, causes risk of autoimmune diseases as well, like I've spoken in the other video. Very high in calories, so don't overconsume if you're on the extreme or steady fat loss phase. So testosterone rating, 3.5 out of 10. Next choice is mozzarella. 1 ounce of mozzarella has 6.3 grams of protein, 85 calories, and 6.3 grams of fat. The pros is that it's probably one of the best tasting cheese. It's also very high in protein considering it's a type of cheese. The con, however, is eating too much of it can cause acne flare-ups. However, raw mozzarella don't do this, but it's hard to find that. Testosterone rating, 5 out of 10. Next choice is broccoli. 100 grams of broccoli has 3 grams of protein, 34 calories, and 0.4 grams of protein, and 6.6 grams of carbs. Pros is that it's better than most vegetables. Biohackers like Baron Johnson take this. If you're a vegan, then I'll suggest you can take this. But if not, I wouldn't really suggest it. It has some anti-aging effects. And even though it's high in protein with less calories, ain't nobody eating 1 kilo of broccoli just to get 13 grams of protein. The cons is that if you have thyroid issues, this will make it worse. Raw broccoli contains an anti-nutrient called oxalic acid, so this prevents your body from absorbing calcium. So never eat broccoli raw, and most vegetables in general, except carrots, but we'll get to that later. So testosterone rating, 5 out of 10. Next choice is organic oats. 1 cup of raw oats has 10.7 grams of protein, 307 calories, 5.3 grams of fat, and 54.8 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's very high in soluble fiber, so the good fiber basically. This is excellent for anyone with gut issues. So if you get oats and thoroughly rinse them in water and leave them to soak overnight in new water, then drain it completely in the morning, you get rid of all the anti-nutrients in oats. So oats by itself, I never suggest to anyone to eat because it gives you bloating issues and so many other constipation issues. But when you do the thing I told you and take out all the anti-nutrients, it becomes very nutrient dense. It's very good for you after that. The cons is there's no very high in protein, so it's not optimal unless you're on the lean bulk phase. And also because it's not an animal-based protein, it won't be as high in bioavailable protein. So testosterone rating, 6 out of 10. Next choice is parmesan. 1 ounce of grafted parmesan has 8 grams of protein, 119 calories, and 8 grams of fat. The pros is that it's lactose-free, so lactose intolerant people can still enjoy it. Because it doesn't contain lactose, it doesn't cause as much acne flare-ups, and also very high in protein considering it's a type of cheese. The cons is there's not many, but it's not the best to eat. So the testosterone rating is 6.9 out of 10. Next choice is guava. 100 grams of guava has 2.6 grams of protein, 68 calories, 0.9 grams of fat, and 14 grams of carbs. The pros is that fruit, so it's good. So every single fruit I'm going to speak about, no problem with them. The cons is that none, if you enjoyed the taste of it, then eat it. Testosterone rating, 7 out of 10, doesn't really increase a crazy amount, but it's still good for you. Next choice is blackberries. 100 grams of blackberries has 1.4 grams of protein, 43 calories, 0.5 grams of fat, and 9.6 grams of carbs. So pros is that it has a lot of antioxidants that protect your cells and low inflammation. Cons, none if you really like the taste of it. And it's also 7 out of 10 for testosterone. Next choice, avocado, one of my favorites. 100 grams of avocado has 2 grams of protein, 160 calories, 15 grams of fat, 8.5 grams of carbs. It's one of the best things to eat for fat. Pros is they're very nutrient dense, has a lot of vitamin E, this neutralizes the effect of seed oils, and it's an elite food if you're on the lean bulk phase. It's amazing for your gut health and clear skin. It's high in soluble fiber, so the good type of fiber. It's probably the best fruit alongside blueberries. Cons is that it's expensive and you might not like the taste. It's very calorie dense as well, so not suitable for extreme or steady fat loss phases. Testosterone rating 9 out of 10. If you don't like the taste of it, then put some salt in it, it makes it better. That's what I tell my clients. Next choice is banana. 100 grams of banana has 1.1 gram of protein, 89 calories, 0.3 grams of fat, and 23 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's a great pre-workout snack to have 45 minutes before a gym session. It absorbs quickly and gives good pumps, and is high in potassium, so it gets rid of muscle cramps. Also, it tastes great, cheap, and easy to find. The cons is that it's not very satiating, so you might end up eating too much. Testosterone rating, 8.5 out of 10. You can never go wrong with a banana before a workout. Next choice is pumpkin seed. Guys, don't take this one. 1 ounce has 8.5 grams of protein, 158 calories, 14 grams of fat. The pros is that it's very high. The pros is that it's very high in calories, so it's good if you're in the lean bulk phase, but guys, don't take this. Cons is it's very bad 6 to omega-3 ratios ever. And the excess omega-6 causes inflammation, chronic disease, you know it already now. It's also very high in calories, So don't overconsume if you're on the extreme or steady fat loss phase. Testosterone rating 1.5 out of 10. Next choice is lentils. Half a cup of cooked lentils has 9 grams of protein, 116 calories, and 0.4 grams of fat. The pros is they're extremely protein dense and low in calories, so for something that's not animal based, it's impressive. The cons is that it's a grain, so it might cause some gut issues for some people. And because it's not animal based protein, it won't be as high in bioavailable protein. So testosterone rating 5 out of 10. Next choice is chickpeas. Half a cup of cooked chickpeas has 9 grams of protein, 164 calories, and 2.6 grams of fat. So the pros is that it's a good option for vegetarians to hit their protein intake. So guys, let me tell you this. Unless it's for religious reasons, you should not go vegetarian. But I'll get to that later. Because protein from meat is much more bioavailable, much more satiating, and much more better for the body than plant-based protein. And trust me on this. The cons is that it's a grain, so it might cause some gut issues for some people. Because it's not animal-based protein, it won't be as high in bioavailable protein. The cons is that it isn't very high in protein and a lot higher in calories, so it makes it unsuitable for extreme or steady fat loss phases. The testosterone ratings, I'll give it 4 out of 10. Next choice is quinoa. 100 grams of quinoa has 14 grams of protein, 368 calories, and 6 grams of fat. The pros is that it's a good option for protein for vegetables. It's gluten-free as well, which makes it much better than most grains. However, because it's not animal-based protein, it won't be as high in bioavailable protein. Guys, just don't become vegan. It isn't very high in protein and a lot higher in calories. It makes it unsuitable for extreme or steady fat loss phases. The testosterone rating, 5.5 out of 10. Now let's speak about carbs. We just spoke about quinoa, organic oats, 6 out of 10. Banana, 7.5 out of 10. Sweet potato, 7.5 out of 10. Beets, 100 grams of raw beets has 1.6 grams of protein, 180 calories, and 0.17 grams of fat, and 9.5 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's very nutrient dense. If taken before a gym session, it gives you amazing pumps and improves blood flow. You're going to see amazing veins and vascular clarity. And lowers inflammation and improves erection and makes you last longer as well. Nature's Viagra, basically. The cons is that it might make your mouth red. Testosterone rating, 8.5 out of 10. Next is white rice, my personal favorite. You can never go wrong with rice. 100 grams of cooked white rice has 2.4 grams of protein, 130 calories, 0.3 grams of fat, and 28.2 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's one of the best sources of carbs. If you have gut issues, rice is safe for you, 10 times better than wheat, and very easy to digest. The cons is there's literally none, as long as you don't overeat, because it does have a bit of calories. Testosterone rating, 8.5 out of 10. Very good for you. Next is brown rice. 100 grams of cooked brown rice has 2.3 grams of protein, 112 calories, 0.9 grams of fat, 23 grams of carbs. And pros is that absolutely none. White rice is way better. I don't know why people eat this. Doesn't even taste nice as well. Cons is as loaded with lectins, which irritate your gut. It has heavy metals such as arsenic. People think it's good because it has fiber, but it has insoluble fiber, which is the bad type. If you want to test it out for yourself, find someone with irritable bowel syndrome and tell them to eat only brown rice every day. Within a day, they'll be pooing breaks with a side of intense abdominal pain. Next choice is corn. 100 grams of cooked corn has 3.4 grams of protein, 96 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, 21 grams of carbs. Pros is there's none. Pork one isn't that bad because of its anti-nutrients have been destroyed. Cons is that your body can't really digest it properly because it's why you see in feces. Eating corn slows down your thyroid, which will lower your metabolism and your testosterone over time. It was fed to pigs to fatten them up at low cost as well, so you see how bad that is. It has anti-nutrients such as phytic acid. This prevents iron and zinc absorption. Testosterone rating, 2.5 out of 10. Next choice is whole wheat bread. 100 grams of whole wheat bread has 8.8 grams of protein, 247 calories, 4.2 grams of fat, and 41 grams of carbs. The pros is none. White bread isn't as bad, but if you're diabetic, it might make sense for you to eat this over white bread, but has a lower glycemic index. Cons is that it has the bad type of fiber, which is the insoluble fiber we talked about before. This will cause gut issues for most people and will make you more tired and fatigued. Most wheat is sprayed with a pesticide called glyphosate, one of the worst ones. This is why I also tell people not to really go for chicken as well as over meat because they also spray with pesticides. That's one thing I forgot to mention. This is what makes people gluten intolerant in the first place and increases the risk of cancer. It has anti-nutrients such as phytic acid, which prevents zinc and iron absorption. Testosterone rating 2 out of 10. Very bad for you. Next choice is white bread. A bit better than brown bread, but still not the best. 100 grams has 8.1 grams protein, 266 calories, 3.3 grams of fat, and 49 grams of carbs. The only pro is better than whole wheat bread. Like I said. Cons is as most wheat is sprayed with a pesticide called glyphosate, one of the worst one as well. This is what made people gluten intolerant in the first place, and it increases the risk of cancer. It has a high glycemic index, so it isn't suited for people with diabetes. So when you eat too much wheat, it makes you tired and more sluggish. Testosterone rating 3 out of 10. No good for you at all. Next choice is croissant. 100 grams per croissant has 8.2 grams of protein, 406 calories, which is quite a lot, 24.6 grams of fat, and 45 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's very nutritious if you get it from a fresh bakery, that is. It's much better than whole wheat bread. And it has lots of saturated fat in it, which actually slows down the absorption of glucose. The cons is that it's high in calories and not very satiating, so not good for you at all if you're on an extreme or steady fat loss diet. Testosterone rating 5 out of 10. Next choice is bagel. 100 grams of bagel has 10 grams of protein, 250 grams of calories, and 1.2 grams of fat. And it also has 48 grams of carbs. Pros is it has a decent amount of protein for a carb source. The cons is that most wheat is sprayed with a pesticide called glyphosate, and that's one of the worst one. This is what made people gluten intolerant in the first place and increases the risk of cancer, like the ones we mentioned before. It has a high glycemic index, so it isn't suitable for people with diabetes. So when you eat too much wheat, it makes you tired and sluggish. So testosterone rating 3 out of 10. Next choice is English muffin. 100 grams of English muffin has 8.6 grams of protein, 239 grams of calories, 1.5 grams of fat, and 45.8 grams of carbs. The pros, none, apart from tasting good. The cons, this is essentially junk food with very high glycemic index. It's not just carbs, it's just plain sugar. It will worsen your acne, trust me on this. Not very satiating and very high in calories. It's not optimal for the extreme or steady fat loss phases. Testosterone rating 1.5 out of 10. Get this out of my face. Next choice is rice cake. 100 grams of rice cake has 7.5 grams of protein, 387 calories, and 3.2 grams of fat, and 82.6 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's actually a very healthy source of pure carbs, if you use, surprisingly. A lot of bodybuilders, you see them eating this for carbs, and will give you amazing pumps in the gym. So it's good for a pre-workout. It's actually very satiating as well, as it takes up a lot of space in your stomach, which is good for extreme and steady fat loss phases. And it's also gluten-free. The cons, not really any, unless you don't overconsume. Testosterone rating is 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. The next choice is barley. 100 grams of cooked barley has 2.3 grams of protein, 123 calories, and 0.4 grams of fat, 28.2 grams of protein, 28.2 grams of carbs as well. The pros, none really. It's just trash as whole wheat. The cons is it contains anti-nutrients that prevent the absorption of certain minerals, and is also sprayed with a pesticide called glyphosate, which I've already spoken about. It increases the risk of cancer. And testosterone rating, 2.5 out of 10. Next choice is raisins. 100 grams of raisins have 3.1 grams of protein, 299 calories, and 0.5 grams of fat, and 79 grams of carbs. Pros is just dried grapes, so it's good for you. Cons is that if you're prone to acne, this might make it worse as it's very high in sugar, and it's not very satiating as it's high in calories as well. It's not suitable if you're on the extreme fat loss phase. Testosterone rating 5 out of 10. Have grapes instead. Next choice is dates. This is the one. 100 grams of dates has 1.8 grams of protein, 277 calories, which is a bit much, 0.2 grams of fat, and 75 grams of carbs. The pros is one of the best fruits of all time. It has all the nutrients your body needs. Try eat 7 dates in the morning. You will see the effects straight away. So even though it's high in sugar, its glycemic index is low, so it's safe for diabetes, in moderation, of course. And over time, it decreases insulin resistance. It's very nutrient dense, like I said, and it's high in soluble fiber. And the study conducted dates double libido and boosted erections. So testosterone ratings 9 out of 10. Just don't overconsume it if you're trying to lose weight. Next choice, mangoes. Can never go wrong with mangoes. I love mangoes. So 100 grams of mango has 0.8 grams of protein, 60 calories, 0.4 grams of fat, and 15 grams of carbs. Pros is that it tastes amazing, very nutrient dense, and low in calories compared to other fruits that are extremely sweet. Try and mix this with cafe and in the morning you drink it, you'll see your testosterone levels really rise up. It's a fruit and all fruit is good for you, so organic fruit without any pesticides are the best, of course. Unlike strawberries. Strawberries itself is very good for you because you don't have anything from the supermarket because there's so much pesticides sprayed on it. And cons, none, just a little high in calories, so don't overdo it if you're on the extreme fat loss phase. Testosterone rating, 8.5 out of 10. Very good for you. Next choice is grapes. I was just speaking about before about raisins. There's much better choice compared to raisins. 100 grams of grapes has 0.7 grams of protein, 69 calories, 0.2 grams of fat, and 18 grapes of carbs. The pros is it's very hydrating as it's high in structured water, the best type of water possible. It's low in calories compared to other sweet foods, and it's very nutrient dense. Similar to watermelon, which I'm not going to include in this presentation, but that's also really hydrating as well. Cons is a none. Just don't overdo if you're on the extreme fat loss phase. Testosterone rating, 8.5 out of 10. This and watermelon are best for hydration. Next choice is spaghetti. 100 grams of spaghetti cooked has 5.8 grams of protein, 158 calories, 0.9 grams of fat, and 30.9 grams of carbs. Some people think it's good for carbs, but guys, don't take it. Rice is a much better alternative. The pros is, I guess it tastes good, but white rice is better, and refined spaghetti is better than brown spaghetti as well. Cons is most wheat is sprayed with a pesticide. This one's included. It has anti-nutrients such as phytic acid, which prevent zinc and iron absorption. When you eat too much wheat, it makes you tired and sluggish. So it's a testosterone rating, 3 out of 10. Not good for you guys. Next choice is apples. You can never go wrong with apples. 100 grams of apples has 0.3 grams of protein, 52 calories, 0.2 grams of fat, 13.81 grams of carbs. The pros is good fruit for you, organic is best, and is very low in calories, and is high in good fiber. Excellent choice if you're on the extreme or steady fat loss phase, and is very satiating. Testosterone rating, 7 out of 10. Next choice is pears. Also good for you. Guys, every single fruit is good for you. It's very low in calories. And is good in high fiber. So excellent choice if you're in an extreme or steady fat loss phase. There's literally no cons. Also has 0.4 grams of protein in 100 grams, 57 calories, 0.1 grams of fat, and 15.23 grams of carbs. Very good for carving up. Next choice is figs. 100 grams of dried figs has 3.3 grams of protein, 249 calories, and 0.9 grams of fat, 63.9 grams of carbs. And pros is that one of the best fruits you can ever eat. It heals your gut and it's extremely nutrient dense. The cons is that it's high in calories, so I do not recommend it if you're on the extreme fat loss phase. And don't overdo it if you're diabetic. Testosterone rating, 8 out of 10. Next choice is apricots. 100 grams of dried apricots has 3.4 grams of protein, 241 calories, 0.5 grams of fat, and 62.6 grams of carbs. Very high carbs. The pros is that fruit is good for you. However, it's very high in calories, so do not recommend if you're on the extreme fat loss phase. And don't overdo it if you're diabetic because of the high carbs level. Testosterone level, 7.5 out of 10. Next choice is lychee. 100 grams of is 0.8 grams of protein, 66 calories, 0.4 grams of fat, 16.5 grams of carbs. The pros is it tastes amazing because they have an outer layer that once you remove, you end up not consuming much pesticides, unlike strawberries. The cons is that it's very easy to overeat them as they're not very satiating, so don't overdo it if you're diabetic. Testosterone rating, 7.5 out of 10. Next choice is cherries. Pretty good. 100 grams of cherries has 1.1 grams of protein, 63 calories, 0.2 grams of fat, and 16 grams of carbs. The pros is they taste very good, and they're not very high in calories, so it's a good snack option if you're in the steady fat loss phase. However, cherry might make you gassy, but this depends on person to person. Testosterone rating, 10 out of 10. Next choice is oranges. You can never go wrong with oranges. 100 grams of oranges has 0.9 grams of protein, 47 calories, 0.1 gram of fat, and 11.75 grams of carbs. Pros is that this is a superfood, amazing for you. Organic is best, of course, especially juices. Orange juices are amazing for you. One of the best food there is. It has active enzymes, so that is good for your health. It contains structured water, the best type of water for hydration, just like watermelon and grapes. It gets rid of the toxic effects of heavy metals in the body. It supports your thyroid function, which boosts your testosterone, and is very high in the vitamin C, so it supports your skin health and glow and leptin production as well. The cons, not really any. Combine this with collagen, you'll see your skin booming, and also red light therapy. Now let's speak about fats. Avocado, we went through this, amazing for you. Chia seeds, not good for you. Cream cheese. 100 grams of cream cheese has 5.9 grams of protein, 342 calories, and 34.2 grams of fat. 4.1 grams of carbs as well. Pros is that it's low in lactose, so it might not give you acne if you have sensitive skin. And it also has probiotics, so it's good for your gut, I guess. Cons is that it's too high in calories, so it's not recommended if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phase, and other sources of fat are better for you, because it's one of the lowest protein having types of cheese. Testosterone rating, 5 out of 10. Next choice is cheddar cheese. It's pretty good for you. 100 grams of cheddar cheese has 24.9 grams of protein, 403 calories, which is quite high. That's 3.1 grams of fat and 1.3 grams of carbs. Pros is very nutrient dense, very high in protein considering it's a type of cheese, probably the highest. And if you're someone who doesn't have sensitive skin that's prone to acne, this is an amazing choice. The cons is that it's too high in calories. There's no recommended if you're in the extreme or steady fat loss phase. Just don't overdo it, even if you're not trying to cut and maintain an even. Testosterone rating, 10 out of 10. It's good, I guess. Coconut milk, 100 grams of canned coconut milk has 2.3 grams of protein, 230 calories, 24 grams of fat, 6 grams of carbs. The pros is none really if you're buying from the store. It's only good if you make it at home with few ingredients and no seed oils. The coconut milk from the store tends to be a little healthier than almond milk and definitely better than soy milk. The cons is that almonds, hazelnuts, soy, and coconuts do not lactate. Raw milk is the best type of milk, guys. So drink them. Don't drink these different types of BTEC milk. Raw milk is the best type of milk you could possibly drink to boost your testosterone. Testosterone rating here, 4 out of 10. Next choice is sesame seeds. 100 grams of sesame seeds has 17 grams of protein, 573 calories, 49.7 grams of fat, and 23.5 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's very nutrient dense. However, it's too high in calories to be considered a good source of protein. Its omega-6 to 3 ratio is disgusting as well. It's 50 to 1. The optimal diet should be 4 to 1. It will cause inflammation in your body because of the excess omega-6, which will lead to a list of chronic diseases. Seeds in general should be avoided, as most of them have defense chemicals that destroy gut health and cause issues in the long run. Unless it's back seed oil, cold press as well. You should never drink any seed oil. Testosterone rating, 2.5 out of 10. Next choice is extra virgin olive oil. Amazing for you. 1 tablespoon of olive oil has 0 grams of protein, 119 calories, 14 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbs. The pros is that one of the best types of oil that is actually good for you. It lowers your blood pressure, is a good anti-aging effect, it has an amazing source of vitamin E, which neutralizes the toxic effects of the seed oils. It lowers inflammation in your body. It prevents chronic diseases. It lowers the risk of heart disease. It can go on and go on. The cons is that when you cook it, you lose most of the effects, and also it's very hard to find authentic ones. A lot of the one you find in stores contains lots of linoleic acids, so make sure you authenticate its origins. One way to check if it's authentic is if you drink it, you should feel a burn effect in the end of your throat. That's how you know it's authentic. Otherwise, don't go for it. And never cook with it, guys. Make sure it's always a topping. Next one is avocado oil. 1 tablespoon avocado oil has 0 grams of protein, 124 calories, 14 grams of fat, and 0 grams of carbs. The pros is that even though its omega-6 to 3 is a little high at 13 to 1, the total amount of omega-6 is very low, so you won't get any negative effects from it. And it's absolutely amazing for your skin, as it's an amazing source of vitamin E, which also neutralizes the effects of the seed oils that people consume. The cons is that 90% of avocado oil, just like olive oil, has been proven to be made from rancid, decomposed avocados, which is why I've always avoided, especially the ones from the superstore. So make sure you authentify it. Testosterone rating, the one from the stores, 5 out of 10. But if you're 100% sure it's good quality, like the olive oil, then it's 9 out of 10. Next choice, grass-fed butter. 1 tablespoon of butter has 0.1 grams of protein, 102 calories, and 11.5 grams of fat, and 0 grams of carbs. The pros is that it's amazing. One of the best sources of fats you can choose. Very nutrient dense. Best thing to cook your food with. It will boost your testosterone levels. It is a good source of vitamin A, K2, and beta carotene. And if you have sensitive skin that gets acne easily, this type of fat, this won't be as bad for you if you don't overdo it. The cons, none really. Even though it's amazing, just don't overdo it because it's high in calories. Testosterone rating, 9.8 out of 10. Next choice is ghee, also really good. 1 tablespoon of ghee is 0 grams of protein, 123 calories, 14 grams of fat, and 0 grams of carbs. Pros, amazing, same as butter. One of the best sorts of fats you can choose. But of course, I choose butter over ghee when it comes to cooking because there's a bit more nutrient dense, but it's also amazing for you. You can cook with this as well. Extremely nutrient dense, with boosted testosterone levels through the roof. It's a good source of vitamin A, E, and K. It's amazing for your heart health. And if you have sensitive skin that gets acne easily, This type of fat won't be as bad for you if you don't overdo it. The cons is that none really, and even that's amazing is don't do it because it's a little high in calories. Testosterone rating 9.2 out of 10. Next choice is pesto sauce. One table, 1 tablespoon of pesto sauce has 1.2 grams of protein, 85 calories, 8.9 grams of fat, and 1 grams of carbs. The process is made if it's made from extra virgin oil instead of seed oils, it's good. Otherwise, it's not, man. It's going to be hard getting a quality pesto sauce at the supermarket, so make it at home for the best gains. Cons, none really, as long as you make it at home with no processed ingredients and a good quality extra virgin olive oil. Testosterone rating 6 out of 10. Pretty okay. Next choice mayonnaise. Guys, don't have mayonnaise. 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise has 0.2 grams of protein, 94 calories, 10 grams of fat, 0.1 grams of carbs. Pros, none really, absolutely trash, as more than half of it is pure seed oils. Cons, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes risk, causes metabolic syndrome, causes irritable bowel syndrome, causes the risk of cancer, causes the risk of autoimmune diseases, very high in calories. So don't overconsume it from the extremely or steady fat loss phases. Guys, you don't eat it all. I know it tastes very nice, but it's not worth it, man. Testosterone rating is 0.1 out of 10. It wrecks your testosterone. Next choice is dark chocolate. Make sure it's nothing less than 95%. 1 ounce of dark chocolate has 2.2 grams of protein, 167 calories, 14 grams of fat, and 13 grams of carbs. Pros are there is amazing source of healthy fats, extremely nutritious, reduces risk of heart diseases, improves the cognitive performance. That means it makes you smart. Like cocoa and it boosts testosterone. And studies show that it's been proven to reduce your myostatin production, which is basically a hormone that inhibits your muscle growth. This will reverse the effect and you have more muscle growth. This is good for your gym goers. Cons are none as long as you don't overdo it because it's quite high in calories. Just make sure you don't give the cocoa percentage less than 95%. Testosterone rating 8 out of 10. Next choice is full fat Greek yogurt. 100 grams of full fat Greek yogurt has 9 grams of protein, 133 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 4 grams of carbs. The pros are that yogurt contains probiotics, so it's great for your gut health and is great for people with gut issues, skin issues, and it boosts immunity. Fixes constipation and is better for you than taking a probiotic supplement. The cons is that it's very high in calories in compared to how much protein it has, so it's not suitable for the extreme and steady fat loss phases. Testosterone rating 8 out of 10. Next choice is hummus. 2 tablespoons of hummus has 2 grams of protein, 70 calories, 5 grams of fat, and 4 grams of carbs. Pros is a mix of chickpeas mainly and it's tasty, and if it's made of extra virgin olive oil, then it's healthy and will lower inflammation. Best made at home. But cons is that it's not an ideal source of fats. Choose an animal-based fat instead of increased testosterone. Sorry, people from Greece, I know you love your hummus. Testosterone rating 4 out of 10. Next choice, duck eggs. Now we're speaking. 1 large duck egg has 9 grams of protein, 130 calories, 10 grams of fat, 1 gram of carbs. The pros is one of the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. It's better than pasture-raised egg, only if it's organic and pasture-raised too. The protein in these eggs is very bioavailable, so you absorb more protein than other protein sources, such as plant-based protein. It's amazing for boosting your testosterone. It boosts testosterone more than normal chicken eggs. And some biohackers say that it actually reduces your myostatin production, which is a good thing. Cons is that it's on the expensive side and it's hard to find in places such as the UK where I live in. Testosterone rating 9 out of 10. Very good for you. Now let's speak about the bonus ones. First is carrots, raw especially. Pros are that it's one of, if not the best vegetable and one of the only ones I recommend. It's been shown to reduce estrogen. Estrogen is the one negative side effect of testosterone. It's basically excess fat that can build up in your chest area and your abdomen. You people who blast steroids a lot experience estrogen as well. It binds to endotoxins in your gut and is amazing for improving your gut lining, just like activated charcoal. But this one you can have in food. It's low in calories, amazing for cutting weight. The cons is if not eating raw, then the nutrients and benefits will lessen, but amazing. Guys, eat this. Testosterone rating 8.8 out of 10. Next one is pomegranate juice. The process that increases testosterone through the roof, more than 20%. Nutrient dense for you, amazing for you, and it's high concentration antioxidants. It means protects your cell damage, anti-aging effects, improves your cardio output, it reduces inflammation in your body. Cons is that it can be slightly high in calories. And guys, it doesn't have to be juice, it can just be normal pomegranates. I just wrote juice because it's easier to ingest. Testosterone rating 9.1 out of 10. Very good for you guys. Next one is what people haven't really heard of is royal honey from the bee. The process is that 10 times more powerful than normal raw honey. The queen bee lives more than 7 times longer than the normal bees through this. They're the only one that's allowed to eat this. is shown to increase height after the age of 25 if you combine it with sprints and other HGH. It's been shown in studies to increase your height even after the age of 25, especially if you combine it with high intensity training like HIIT workouts and sprints and other HGH boosting activities such as sauna. Guys, sauna is also good for you. And side note, it's really good to reduce all the toxins from the body, microplastics, and increases your heart rate. It's good for burning calories as well. I've made a separate video on the sauna. You can watch that in my other video. So it's used by ancient kings and pharaohs, but the only con is it tastes horrible. But guys, just like shit legit, the best things can taste a bit horrible. Testosterone rating 9.5 out of 10. It's really good for you. It's so nutrient dense, man. Now for the best one. This is the one that not many people have heard of, but it's really hard to get a hold of. It's called raw colostrum. The process is the greatest drink or supplement of all time. That is made by cows and goats when they've given birth to feed. It's much more nutrient dense than raw milk and raw goat milk and raw buffalo milk combined. Improves the gut lining, shown to reverse diseases like fatty liver. And this is just the gist of the benefits. If you make a drink and combine this with raw eggs, royal honey, bee pollen, shilajit, and drown it, testosterone is going to skyrocket more than they've ever before. And you're going to feel like how you felt when you're a teenager. You're going to get amazing muscle growth as well from this. Cons is that it's extremely hard to find and expires really quickly. Other than that, nothing. Testosterone level, 9.99999 out of 10 is really good for you. Alright guys, I believe that's all for today's presentation. I've gone through a lot of things. This is going to be a very long video. If you stay to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Make sure you give me a comment and ask me any questions. This is the exact things I go over my clients with. Make sure you go over all my socials, all my videos, and give me a follow. Take care. Peace.